All right, what's up? Snuffing Torches Survivor 47, episode 4 recap. Once again, apologies for the delay. I know we said we'd be back this season. We have been mostly back, but things come up. Yankees are in the playoffs. Had to stream the Yankees last night. Going to have to do that anytime they play on a Wednesday night. That takes priority. But we will be able to get this up. We'll get this up as soon as we can. Once again, apologies, but you got to look the snuff heads. I think that where are you going, Nate?
I can hear you through the wall.
Okay.
Oh.
I think the snuff heads are under reasonable people. They know, this podcast is kind of a hobby for us, more than it's a legitimate work obligation. So those are always going to come first, whether it's advisors, Yankee streams. But we're going to do the best we can because this has been a great season so far. It looks like you're settled in.
Okay, sorry about that. I could hear you through the wall and it was going crazy.
No, that's fair. But yeah, great season so far. Great episode last night. Rome has kind of been the star of this season. I think he's insufferable. The way he treats people. Like, I know some people are being like, oh, he's a fun villain. He's a fun villain. I do not think he's a fun villain. I think he's incredibly unlikable, but not in like a Russell or Tony way. I think he's just a truly unlikable person. But I guess it is good TV. So I'm kind of glad he's around, but hell of a vote. And yeah, nobody make fun of the number because it's 2 p.m. Look, if this was live after the show, we'd have a couple hundred concurrents. Right now, I cannot imagine too many people at 2:02 p.m. in the middle of a work day are going to be tuning in Snuffing Torches. But if you are,
you know what? Fuck the haters, Tommy. I don't give a fuck. Great episode last night. Great episode 2 and 3 and 4 since we last did an episode 1. Great season so far. I've loved it. I have very, very few complaints. I thought last night was brilliant. I love the way they edited it. I love Rome giving Saul not a threat, but an ultimatum. I thought that was, that's villain shit, but I love it. And I love the way the vote went. Genevieve, the queen, coming out of nowhere and just putting everybody under her spell. And I thought it was excellent.
It was a cool move from Rome to make that threat to Saul, but then to at Tribal get up and be like, actually, I'm stealing Keyshawn's vote, and then you kind of realize that everything is going awry. Do you think how dumb of a move do you think it was by Keyshawn to try to flip the vote on Rome to his biggest ally, knowing Rome has the steal vote? Do you think that was basically a case of if it's not you or your closest ally, which would be him or Teeny, and it was neither of them, just kind of go with the flow, don't rock the boat? Or do you think it was a good move by Keyshawn to basically say, like, hey, Rome's a power player. He's kind of a nuisance. Let's get him out. But that
Keyshawn came down with a case of wanting to play too hard on Survivor. He even said it in all, and I became a fan of his because he even said it in all, like, to the camera. Is like he's there to be messy. He knows how to use people's feelings and manipulate them. He just wanted to play hard. He was playing loose, hard, fast, and a messy game. And when people play like that, they usually have a very big downfall. And his just came way sooner than later. I mean, between Rome stalking Saul and then Keyshawn just being just all over the map, a lot of people could have gone home last night. Based on emotions and just based on, I don't want to say bad gameplay, but, like Saul, someone is appealing to Saul saying, it's you tonight. You need to vote with me. He's like, I just can't do it. It's like, at some point you have to save yourself. He ended up saving himself somehow, but Keyshawn I like Keyshawn. He flew too high and he crashed too soon.
And then I will say, someone brought up Alex in the Rumble chat. How are they so confident that Keyshawn didn't have an idol? I feel like stealing his vote was an unnecessary risk. That's not a bad point where maybe he could have still stolen Saul's vote, and then, 2 votes from Rome go on Keyshawn, 1 vote from Genevieve goes on Keyshawn, and you don't run the risk of an idol being played. Because if, the second that Rome stole the vote from Keyshawn, it was pretty much, him or Teeny are going home. So, and you also never know, maybe Teeny lied about what happened at the journey. Maybe she had an idol that she got there. So I do think that's a decent point where I think, because Soul is still not voting with you either way. So it might not have been a bad move, I think, to vote, to still steal Soul's vote. But you know what? It was a cool move. It was a baller move by Rome. So credit
Yeah,
where it's
no, I
due.
was hoping you had a explanation for that. It didn't. He didn't have to steal his vote. It was cool for TV. I was confused. I was like, wait, why did he steal his vote? Maybe it was just salt in the wound type of thing. But yeah, it played out great on TV.
Yeah. Now, look at that tribe. You have Teeny and Soul will probably team up. Uh, Genevieve and Rome are obviously a tight duo. Genevieve, to me, is kind of the star of the show here. I know Rome is kind of the one that makes the big move, but it was Genevieve who I think kind of put the plans in motion once she heard that Keyshawn mentioned her name as a decoy. Genevieve's hot. I saw somebody in the chat be like, I can't tell if Genevieve's hot. Genevieve is hot. I think she's a good player. I think her, and she kind of acknowledged it, is her downfall could be people just don't like Rome so much. And Rome is such a big, flashy player where if she's seen as too close to Rome, which this move kind of solidified, I think that just is going to put a target on her back. I think for Genevieve, it might make sense for her to team up with Soul and Teeny and still get out Rome, but then she's the obvious third there. And, Teeny's and Soul are probably never going to trust her. So I don't know.
But a lot can change, though. I don't think Genevieve is. I don't think she's, based on last night, she's a good player. She's a thinking player. She's a smart, I don't want to say vindictive player, but she got her shit done. I think she knows Rome is a ticking time bomb. I don't think she is 100% necessarily attached to the hip with him. He is so bad at the social aspect based on stalking Saul and just based on what other people were saying about him in confession that I don't think she's going to go down with that ship.
Yeah, but the thing is now, if she doesn't go down with that ship, she's aligning herself with Soul and Teeny, who both are going to be very reluctant to trust her based on the Keyshawn move.
You don't know that, though. Like, if she's just good socially and she tells them, like, you see it all the time. I did what I had to do, but
He threw
now I'm
my
with
name out there. He was playing too hard. And he could be
Yeah,
to
I mean,
Teeny. Because, she could say to Teeny, like, hey, you were away on the journey. Like, Keyshawn was making too big of moves. She could say to Soul, hey, Soul, I saved you.
right,
Like,
exactly.
if it wasn't Keyshawn, it would have been Soul.
Her move saved Soul. Like,
it's also like, I don't
her name
think
wasn't being written down. It was just she didn't like the disrespect of her being the pawn, being like, hey, this Genevieve girl's kind of worthless to our tribe. Let's like use her as whatever you want to call it, scapegoat, the pawn, whatever. And she's like, fuck that. I'll just make a move right in his fucking face.
Yeah, and I do think that Keyshawn definitely had the makings to be a dangerous player, strategic, good thinker, likable. I think he's a guy that the longer he lasted, the better shot he would have had to win. I think he was a really smart player. So getting out a smart player is a good move as opposed to someone like Saul, who I think Saul could still be a good player, but right now he's not very powerful, or Rome, who is just so unlikable that you could almost use him as a shield. I think it's a really good move from Genevieve.
Yeah, Saul, I mean, Rome's stalking him. I've never wanted to punch a character through the screen more. I was so annoyed by that. And it did get like this season now has like multiple people babysitting multiple people. It never turns out well for like if we'll do it at the end of the episode, there's a lot of people with a 0% chance of winning after 5 episodes. I think it's, I don't want to say cut and dry who should be, in the final 5 or so, but it's very apparent. There's quite a few that have 0 chance.
Well, yeah. And also like, some of those people with 0% chance will go deep because they have the 0.0% chance.
And that's becoming like way too I don't know if there's a way to circumvent it, like, but that's becoming way too prevalent where you just know some ding dong. And I know it's always been that way. I wish there was like a better way.
That's just classic Survivor. You bring.
I know. I'm getting tired of it. It's going to be even more prevalent and more prevalent and more prevalent as they bring on like all these libs. It's just like it's getting annoying.
Yeah. All right. Let's touch on some other things from the episode.
Let's start at the beginning. Sam
Yeah,
freestyling and dating Saga with Sierra.
yeah. I mean, I talked about that a little bit last week, but yeah, people, and it is true. Like, it is almost unfair of the other. Like, Sam and Sierra do have a good alliance, but if he wasn't like a good looking guy and she wasn't a good looking girl, I don't think people would automatically be like, "Oh my God, they're an item. Like, they must be dating." I mean, or they're both married or engaged or whatever. So I don't think anything obviously happening there, but it is something you have to be cautious of. Where if you're seen too much like that, it could paint that target on your back. So the interesting dynamic I think on that tribe is the girls have their breadwinners alliance of Sierra, Rachel, and Annika. Right, is her name?
Yep. Yep.
Where they think that Sierra is tight with them. Sam is rightly getting cautious of that. I thought this was really smart by Sam, where he's still trying to be Andy's mentor. Like when Andy drops the shot in the dark, he tells him about it. And Sam, Sierra wants to get Andy out next. Sam is like, well, I don't want to do that because then it's 3 girls and me, and I'm the obvious next target. So I think it's smart of Sam to already be seeing that. And even if you are tight with Sierra, and I'm not saying I think Sierra would turn on Sam, but you have only 2 versus 2, and there's the chance Sierra is like, you know what, I'm going to be seen as Sam's girlfriend on the island. Let me nip that in the butt and just get him out so I don't have that weighing me down. I think the next tribal that they go to, Yellow, is going to be very big for Sam's fate in this game.
Sierra, I thought that's what they were maybe setting up, is she might have to decide between her island boyfriend and her breadwinners alliance, which way is she going to go? It seems like she's tighter. She's tight with both of them, but you just took the words out of my mouth. To not seem like she's in this couple with Sam, she might just have to get rid of him.
Yeah, and Sam was kind of alarmed because Sierra told Andy about the Breadwinners Alliance, like the name. She never told Sam that. So I think Sam is having doubts of like, who's close. And I think Sam is playing well. I think what Sam is doing with Andy is like a dream. To have someone on the island that is just a bad player that you can kind of use as an extra vote is just great Survivor. But he does have to be wary of if he ties himself to Andy too much, he's going to end up on the outs of that breadwinner.
Dude, he's just playing. I don't think he means any harm, but like he's just appealing to every weakness Andy has, making him into a bro, giving him a friend, tutoring him, mentoring him. It's like everything Andy wants. And it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, I don't know how well that will end. But Andy, I mean, I think it was Andy seems like he's starting to calm down a little bit and might be starting to understand Survivor a little bit more. So if you can whip him into shape and have him as an ally, that'd be great for Sam. I think
he is still playing though. I'm gonna give Andy credit. He's still looking for idols. He's still doing his own thing. Like he made himself look so stupid in episode 1, and he's had a very nice arc since then. And I think maybe it's just great editing by the show. It's like watching a baby deer learn how to walk.
Yeah.
Like you're watching this boy develop into a man on the island
with the help of Sam, his daddy.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's kind of it for Yellow, but I almost feel I was very confident going into going into the challenge that either Yellow or Red would lose because Blue didn't have much set up. So I think Yellow might lose next week. Although in the preview, which I know you don't watch, it said something like a brand new Survivor twist. It didn't necessarily seem like a merge swap, although it could be at 14. You could go to 2 tribes of 7. But so we'll see how that is. But otherwise, I think Yellow is going to tribal soon, and we're going to have a big vote there where Sierra is kind of the swing. Over on the Blue tribe, so I always say, I'd like to have somebody that I could tag along. Gabe, I think, is a really good player. And I always think the same thing. I would love to align with the older woman mom archetype because
fucking Sue.
Not to stereotype, but they're typically not the most cutthroat players. So I get where Gabe is coming from. Gabe's issue is he might have chosen a cutthroat player in Sue, where she's like, look, I know I'm viewed out as the mom. she told him she's only 45 when she's really 58. You know,
Yeah,
I might have said like 51 or something. You know, I'm it's a big leap.
I'm not gonna say Sue is a smart cutthroat player. I think she falls into that category of I'm a woman. I don't want a man to push me around. And then people make mistakes when they think people are looking at you that way. There's no indication anybody was looking at Sue in any sort of way, but she seems in her own head about it. Why she's lying about her age. All she says is I'm a pilot. Blah 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 blah. If I had to give reverse jib cuts, I don't like the cut of her jib.
I mean, she did find the idol. She found the beware advantage, knocked down the thing. I actually kind of liked that. I like where the thing falls, red paint everywhere. You're literally caught red-handed. I like that way more than I like the building the boxes and got to build to
Can I
find
ask you
the
about the
idol.
paint?
Yeah.
Why? Okay. Why did she have to clean? She's like, they'll know it was me if I don't clean it up on the ground. As long as she cleaned herself up, wouldn't it have been kind of cool if she left the paint on the ground so everybody would just be wondering what the fuck that was?
Yeah, that's completely fair. I kind of had the same thought, but maybe it's just like, well, then somebody has it, and then people might be like, well, where was Sue? I thought there was no way she was gonna be able to clean all that red paint off the ground. I thought she'd be able to clean herself off. She got rid of it all off the ground, but then tried to clean herself off, had a little bit on her chin, had a little bit in her hair and her nails, and she sees the girls at the water well, and she's like, oh, I bit my tongue.
So she goes, I was playing around with the machete. I bit my tongue. They're like, pick a story,
Like this
lady.
woman's about to fucking kill herself on the island.
Right.
So
I think you just say she should have actually like cut her arm with the machete. So
yeah,
she would have been like,
that
I
would be
cut
next
myself.
level.
She couldn't keep her story straight for 30 seconds. And how is that not a bigger story back at camp? Like, hey, we saw suicidal Sue at the wishing well,
Yeah,
like
can we get
holding a
medical in? Can
machete
we get
with
like our
blood in her
psychologist
hair.
in?
She had blood in her hair. Like that should have been they should have called in medics, been like, figure this out.
But it was also like pretty obviously paint, I think, if you got a close look. So I just thought it was, I mean, unless she did and they didn't show it, why didn't you just fucking jump in the water immediately? Like jump in the ocean?
Okay. Also, a thought I had: can you only go in the water in certain places, like production wise? Because you're on an island. Why wouldn't she just walk to the other side of the island where the
Yeah, they do rope off areas where you can't walk, but I mean, she still could have just like like even if people saw her go for a dip, that's not like suspicious.
No, I agree. I was confused by that as well. I assumed it was a production thing, and maybe she was too scared to walk back. I don't know. That would if anybody has an answer, I would love one.
And it is like, I guess she couldn't see her, like there's no mirrors out there, so she can't see the red on her face. But yeah, I feel like if she just took a quick dip in that ocean, she would have been in way better shape. But at the end of the day, I see some people in the chat being like, "Oh, Sue sucks." Sue got an idol and nobody knows about it. They're a little suspicious of her in general. They might think she's a lunatic. They might think she's, searching even, but nobody concretely knows that she has an idol, and she has one. So that's an overall win for Sue.
I'm not a Sue guy. I'm not gonna. I don't. I'm not a Sue.
I'm not a Sue. Sue is I wouldn't give her the anti-jib cut. I wouldn't give her the jib cut. I would say she's floating where, like, I think she has the potential to be an actually decent player, but I'm not ready to say that just yet. But I mean, again, if you just look at the box score, she found an idol, nobody knows about it. You got to give her
But
credit.
also, one of the notes I took, wow, old ass Sue is tired. That was the first thing they showed of her. Sue needs to take a nap. So it's been 9 days. Old ass Sue might be weakening on the island.
Yeah, but it's not bad for her to play that card up. Oh, I'm not a threat.
Sure.
But yeah, Gabe, I like Gabe. I think Gabe is playing really similar to how I feel like I would play a game. Let's see what else we got. It was Caroline and Tiana.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm reading my notes. Just real back to Andy and Sam. Sam just has a quote. Everything Andy does, he should do the complete opposite. And they just
Yeah.
showed a montage of him ripping his underwear, falling off the hammock, falling on the boat. I think it was just everything he does is just it's just comical. I think you called him George Costanza.
Yeah, you call him the George Costanza Survivor. Andy is good. Andy has become good TV. Episode 1, he was
Yes.
pathetic, but it was good TV. Andy's comedy. He's unintentional comedy, so I'm fine with him staying around for a little while. The challenge, I mean, don't think I've ever seen that in Survivor where they just didn't even get one piece of the puzzle. I mean, there's been times where, it's a blowout and you don't get to go start the puzzle, but they all started, relatively similar enough. It wasn't like it was a huge blowout in any direction. Rome just could not get a single piece. It was perfect because Rome was such a
I thought he was throwing it. Watching it, I thought the whole storyline for the rest of the episode was going to be, did Rome throw the challenge?
I thought he wasn't throwing it, but he was going to claim he was throwing it because he couldn't suffer the embarrassment.
And for the Saul standing there, that ain't it, that ain't
Yeah.
it, that ain't it, that ain't it for 15 minutes, and they never make him swap out. He never stands up from his crouch. There was something wonky about it, Tommy. I'm very surprised there's not more talk on the island about him throwing that.
I think he's just really bad at puzzles. And if he threw it, he would have said it. He would have said it at least in like a confessional. He would have been like, "Oh, I threw that challenge. I'm actually really smart." He did not do that. So I think it was I think he just really was bad at that puzzle.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. It's just they were first to the puzzle and put together 0 pieces. It seems almost impossible.
Yeah. After that, we go to the island. Teeny.
Also, not to harp on this or to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to do it. I can't do puzzles, man. We're making a seahorse. We're making a fire. It's just every single challenge does not need to end with a puzzle. It's just another puzzle after another puzzle. I can't do the puzzles anymore.
Yeah, that's just how, Survivor tribe challenges go. I always prefer the individual challenges to the tribe ones, but yeah, the tribe one is that's really when I zone out, check my phone of, okay, they're going to run through an obstacle course and then they're going to have to build a puzzle.
They're either going to jump off a platform into the water and swim, or they're going to crawl under a net. But regardless, it's just going to end with a fucking puzzle.
Yeah, it's a bit tiring for sure. So after that, you get 3 people choose to go on the journey. It was Teeny, Caroline, and Andy are the 3 people that go. I say this every time. The fact that they still don't have any better name for this than Journey really annoys me. But they basically have to flip a timer and then make a decision where either one person sacrifices their vote and then they can all get, a possible advantage, or if they can't come to agreement, then all 3 of them lose their vote. Obviously, none of them want to do it. Caroline's like, it's kind of wonky on my tribe. Andy's on the bottom. Teeny's like, well, I'm going to fucking tribal in an hour. Like, I would like my vote, but she does end up sacrificing it. And then they reveal that there's the amulets. A little bit different from past seasons where now it can be used as an idol right away. Like if all 3 of them are in the game, they can combine and use it as an idol. I don't know how it works. Maybe they have to unanimously agree who the idol is getting used on. Like, could 2 of them be like, I want to use on this person, and one says I want to use on this person? Then what happens? Is it a best 2 out of 3? I think they probably have to unanimously decide. If one person goes home, then you just need the other 2, and if that person goes home, it's just a full idol. But again, it kind of, and I forget who one of the 3 said it. It might have been Teeny. I'm not sure. Where it's, it could either be a kumbaya moment where you come together and say, hey, the 3 of us can work together. And we have these, people say amulets. Do I say amulets? I think I say it weird. Where they could be like, oh, we have the amulets. Like the 3 of us can stick together and we could use it as an idol. But there's, that's the angel on your shoulder. And then the devil on your shoulder is like, well, I would love if this other person or these other 2 people are out of the game, because then it's just my fucking idol. So it's a tough again, there's no true advantages, it feels like, in Survivor anymore.
Yeah, yeah. The idols now sometimes only are for the first tribal council after you get it, so there's not much strategy there. It's like, well, I have to play it because it's only good for right now. I guess you can play it on somebody else, but that so rarely happens. Every other idol's a treasure hunt, and you're chopping ropes and you're digging holes and you're unlocking boxes, unlock boxes, unlock boxes. I would like it a little more simplified. I'm with you on that. I don't need everything to. Also, the journey. Last week's journey, it was pick a scroll, lose a vote, or keep your vote. And then this, like, I don't like that the journey is just a game of chance with no real strategic. I guess this one had a little more strategy behind it, but last week's I hated. There was no strategy behind it. It was, hey, let's chit chat, lie to each other for 15 minutes, and then just reach our hand into a hole and pick up a scroll. I wish there was gameplay. I wish it was make the journey like a 3-person immunity thing. I don't know, but it just the point of the journey is literally just to isolate them for a couple hours and then fuck them over without any real gameplay behind it. I don't think you should ever get fucked over, lose a vote, whatever, if there's no actual strategy or gameplay behind that happening to you. It shouldn't just be the luck of the draw, reaching your hand into a hat.
Yeah, I did kind of like what they did last night better, where at least it was like, all right, group decision. There's a little bit of the prisoner's dilemma aspect. But yeah, there's no, like, I would never want to go on a journey because there's a pretty good chance you're going to lose your vote or something bad's going to happen. And no matter what, you're going to get back to camp. You're going to have a target on your back. People are going to be like, oh, this person, he's lying to me. She's lying to me, even if they're not lying to you. So I don't know. It just seems like it's like a bad thing to go.
I can't remember what it was last season or the season before, but it was a similar thing where we all agreed. It's like something in the game. It was like, fuck, maybe it was getting a vote or losing a vote. It was something having to do with voting, where the entire concept of the game is to be able to vote for someone out. And I don't like losing your vote based on nothing.
Yeah, it does feel like they do everything they can to take people's votes away with these twists. Where you should at least, Alex said in the chat, you should at least have a chance to protect your vote. Like, basically, like last week, it was just like, well, you have to reach your hand in the bag and you're, got a 2 out of 3 chance of losing your vote. This week, it's like, well, you're all going to lose your vote, or only one of you is going to lose your vote.
Or make it
there should always be. I'm okay with you being able to lose your vote. That's a good risk, but there has to be. You have to opt into that choice. You have to choose. Okay, I'm choosing to take this risk of losing my vote for this reward. It shouldn't just be like, you lost your vote and now you have to do all these other fucking things to get it back.
Yeah, or make everything risk reward. Like, hey, you can either get, food for your entire tribe or you lose your vote. So now you're thinking tribe over person, whatever. There's at least that dynamic. This whole journey thing. And you know what? Make it a journey. Make them walk 5 miles or something.
Yeah, I didn't even know. They just like get off the boat and walk to the fucking
dude. Yeah, I think they just turn a corner and then it's like, all right, what's going on in your tribe? Are you guys dating? No. All right, time to read a scroll. All right, bye. I find it pointless.
Yeah, agreed. It's always a dud. And I feel like maybe they didn't do it as much last season. Maybe I'm misremembering. I feel like for whatever reason, it didn't happen as much last season. It also
it just didn't matter. It never has mattered.
They seemingly do it at random. Like, it doesn't necessarily happen every episode. It doesn't always happen after. Like, sometimes they'll just show up on the fucking island and be like, oh, you guys got to go on a journey. Sometimes it'll be after a chat. Like, I wish if they're going to keep this journey theme again, figure out a name for the fucking island, and also like just have it have a little more consistency. When does it stop? But it goes later in the game. It tends to stop. It's a
never once has Jeff Probst told us why they do the journey. Like, why is it there?
It's like, always it's I think it's a dud of a twist.
It is.
And then get back to camp. Teeny's lost her vote. We kind of covered this already, but Genevieve, this is kind of when she switches the vote. Keyshawn, when she finds out that
Genevieve tells Rome about Keyshawn.
No, Rome told Genevieve that Keyshawn mentioned her name.
Yes. Okay.
as like a decoy throwaway vote or whatever. And you see Keyshawn appearing on screen talking about how hard he's playing. Yeah, we covered that. Yeah, again, just a good episode. And I guess let's kind of go through. Let's do our 0-0, or let's do our winners or 0-0s, or like
You don't want to finish that final tribal?
I feel like we covered it at the beginning.
Okay, I didn't
right?
know. Yeah. Keyshawn goes home. Okay.
Yeah, Keyshawn went home, but I think we broke that down. I think on the red tribe, I could see Soul still winning. Rome has a 0.0% chance. I could see Genevieve and Teeny winning.
Saul's still in a bad spot. Based on their body language and just like they don't seem to really fuck with him. You know,
it seemed like they like him, but for whatever, like it seemed like it seemed almost like too easy. Like Soul was on the out on the outside of the last vote. I guess he goes home next.
Him finding himself on the bottom and everybody being so open about it and him not even like disputing it. I just think like around camp, they just don't really fuck with him that hard. It doesn't
really,
seem
I
like
feel like they like him. He seems like a likable guy. I think Rome hates him, but it seems like the rest of them like him.
But how does he end up on the bottom and someone like Rome end up on the top of the tribe dynamics?
I think maybe because Rome found the idol and he kind of just forced his way to steal a vote.
Also, finding an idol this early shouldn't make you at the top of your tribe. Like immediately it should be like, we have to flush his idol.
And well, yeah, but I think they might be like, well, Rome has all this power, like we almost have to go with him type of situation. Now he doesn't, because now he used to steal a vote. He used the idol last time or whenever that was. So Rome is now powerless, where the rest of them should be like, well, this guy's really annoying and he's playing hard. Let's get him out.
I guess I'm not great at articulating this. I think a lot of times on the show, just because someone has an idol or just because someone found an advantage, they automatically assign that person as a position of power, when I don't think having a steal your vote or an idol necessarily means you're at the top of the tribe. I think if you're just have good enough social dynamics with two other people in that tribe, you can still fuck over that person just as easy.
I agree, but I think there's also an element of like, well, what if he uses that power to fuck me over? It's better to just befriend him.
Hate that.
And then, yeah, I mean, it was just so annoying when we wouldn't even let Soul sit on the beach by himself. And I get what Rome is saying of like, it is Survivor. And it's true. You could tail someone and you can watch them sleep like all you want. That's totally in the game. But it's just bad gameplay. Like, it is part of the game. What Rome was doing is part of the game. I have no issue with that. It's just bad fucking game.
I mean, Boston Rob tried to like just keep everybody hostage, and then they were like, all right, this sucks. We're voting you out.
Yeah. But it's part of Survivor. But yeah, he's no Boston Rob if he can't get a single piece of a puzzle. Yellow Tribe. I could see Sam winning. Andy has 0.0 unless he really is the greatest underdog arc of all time. I could see Sierra winning. I can't see Annika winning. She seems to rub people the wrong way. Rachel, I could see winning, but she's been a bit quiet.
Yeah, I agree with all that. What tribe is my dude on? Oh, blue.
This is, good point from Survivor Larry in the Rumble chat. Rome tries to play mafioso, but his issue is he comes off as a 7-year-old with ADHD. Like, he doesn't do it with any sort of je ne sais quoi. He does it as just like an annoying pipsqueak.
He's just a yapper. He's just always talking, and I know they have to fill time, but like, man, you quiet down a little bit,
man. Then Blue Tribe, I really like Gabe's game. I've liked a lot of what I've seen from Gabe's game. I think he's got a shot. Kyle is a 0.
No.
What?
Kyle is not a 0.
I will say he did something last week or the week before where I was like, oh, maybe this guy is playing the game a little bit better than I thought.
What makes you say Kyle's a 0?
He's
Kyle's
just like
my dude.
He's a 0. He said he doesn't like all the talk. Like, whenever you have a player who's like, I don't like all the strategy and stuff, it's like, this guy's a 0.
No, Kyle's cool, man. Kyle gets the game, but he wants a good guy to win. But he's everybody's friend, but he looks like he could be a physical challenge. Tommy.
Kyle would be great on like season 4.
You say one more thing, I'm going to make Kyle my Gabler, and he's going to win the game.
No. I'm not. I'm not saying Kyle has a 0.0% chance. I'm saying he himself is a 0.
He's a chill bro.
Yeah, he doesn't do it for me.
He's just a homie.
He,
Oh, I tolerate a lot. I will not tolerate Kyle slander.
I'm not going all in on Kyle like I am on Gabler, but he certainly has not been that much. He certainly has not given us much this season.
I like him.
Then Tiana and Caroline are the girls, and Sue on that tribe. Tiana, I feel like she knows the game, but I need to see. I don't know. I got to get more of a read on Tiana.
Yeah. I don't really have a
Caroline,
file on Tiana.
yeah, Caroline, I have no file on. She seems like a bit of a 0, but Caroline and Rachel are very similar to me, where we haven't seen a lot from them, but they don't seem like bad players, but they're just kind of chugging along.
Say,
And Sue is interesting.
What did she do last night? Caroline did something.
She was on the journey.
Yeah, but I thought she had something. I didn't even write it down, so maybe it wasn't nothing. But yeah, you're right. She didn't do anything.
So all right, let's do one winner, 1 0.0, and 1 jib cut.
Okay. Do you want me to do a winner?
Yeah, do a winner.
I can't remember who I was picking back in episode 1. Oh, Saul, obviously. He's no longer my winner pick. I might have to just Kyle winner pick right in your fucking face. Just windmill Kyle. You know what? Kyle winner pick right in your face.
I'm gonna go Genevieve winner pick. Maybe that's.
I mean, yeah, she's chalk now though. I wasn't gonna do that.
I don't know. You know, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with the chalk. It could be overreactive. She played
so well last night. Like it was very, very well done by her.
0.0. Andy's the easy one. Rome has no chance to win. There's no chance Rome wins.
Rome has 0. Yeah, that's.
And jib cut, I'm going Gabe. Like I said, I just like the cut of Gabe's jib. I like the way he's playing. I like the way he's thinking about Sue as an ally. Some in the chat said he's a Russell Hantz defender. I didn't know that, but I'm a Russell Hantz defender too. Gabe is like, I'm trying to think of, I always try to put myself in each player's position. And it's like, is there anything I would have done differently? I don't think Gabe has done anything so far where it's like I would have done that so differently. I think I like where Gabe's head is at.
So I still like the cut of Saul's jib because he was willing to just kind of stand up for himself and just be like, "Are you fucking kidding me, bro?" Like, there's a lot of bros. Like,
I like
Saul. Are you fucking kidding me, bros? Out of him. He's like, "Can you be normal for 2 seconds?" So I like that he cuts through the shit. But my real jib cut goes to Sierra. I think she might have more game than she's letting on. I think she is a sneaky winner pick, and I like that I like when chickens. So at the challenge, they won 3 chickens. I love when chickens become a character in the show. It's always very fun because Sam already wants to eat the chickens. Sierra's in love with chickens. She wants to keep them alive forever. And so my jib cut actually goes to the chickens and Sierra. I'm excited for this new chapter.
I would be on the side of kill at least one of the chickens, keep 1 or 2 for eggs. But and as characters, I will say this: I would not know where to begin killing the chicken. Like, how do you kill it? No, but then what? How do you fucking cook it?
You just rip off all the feathers, and then you have a chicken, I guess. I think you
but how do you cook that? How do you do that? How do you
over the fire, like a rotisserie?
I would have no idea what to do. I'd have absolutely no idea what to do.
I have a new jib cut, but I can't remember who it was. Was it actually Keyshawn who learned how to swim before coming onto the show?
Was that this week? I thought that was.
Oh, was that last week? Sorry, I watched them both in a row.
I think that was Keyshawn, and I think
that was last week. I like that because I always say people are just so fucking stupid to not know how to swim and come on Survivor. I like that he went out of his way to learn how to swim, but that might have been last week's.
I think it was. I mean, someone in the chat. I'm pretty sure it was Keyshawn. I'm pretty sure it was last week or even the week before. But I do think, but I like that. Are we gonna?
The more I think about it, Sierra could sneaky win. Like,
I think so.
Yeah, she has two good alliances. She has her breadwinners and she has Sam. And if she sticks somehow with both of them, like I could see it happening.
Yeah, and I think she gets the game. She's not an obvious threat. The thing that's going to make her a target is if people are convinced her and Sam have a showmance. But if she can nip that in the butt, or if he just goes home, I can see her. I can see Sam winning too.
She needs him on the jury though.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be thinking like that. If she could win, she could win. She doesn't need his vote.
Well, for the alliance purpose.
If she fucks him over, he might be less likely to vote for her too. So, all right, that's it. So next week's schedule, the Yankees, if they advance, do not have a game Wednesday night. The possible issue that we could run into is that if the Yankees are in the ALCS, I would probably, I mean, I'm just walking through my own personal schedule with everyone right now, but that's fine. Snuffies get that. Then they play game two. Usually I fly to Chicago Tuesday nights, tape advisors in Chicago Wednesday mornings, fly back Wednesday afternoons, get home for Survivor Wednesday night. The Yankees are in game 2 on Tuesday. Then I would probably stay here and stream the Yankee game Tuesday night. And then maybe I would fly to Chicago Wednesday morning and we would do advisors later in the day. If that is the case, then maybe I would just fly back Thursday morning so that I could do snuffing I'll do it from my hotel room on Wednesday night, get back for Thursday for the game, or there's a chance that they just do it in the morning. I'm just not a part of the episode. There's also a chance that the Yankees lose this series in 5. So a lot of different things at play. But again, every week that there is not they're all work comp. It's not like it's like, oh, we're going to fucking sushi dinner together. Like they're all legitimate work
comp. You want to though?
Happy birthday to Nate. I can't believe I waited this long to say it. Happy birthday to Nate. But again, as long as there's no legitimate work conflicts, we will be live for Snuffing Torches. If not, we'll do it the next day like we did today.
Keep us updated.
Anything else?
I just please keep us updated on your schedule.
Yeah, I'll keep everybody updated on my October is a tough month.
Tough month, besides my birthday.
Besides your birthday. All right, that's it. Like, subscribe everywhere, yada yada, and we will see you next week. Goodbye to the Snuffheads.